BRICS just declared war on the US dollar. Your wallet could be next. If you live in the United States, then BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, just declared war on your wallet. What does this mean for you? And what does it mean for the rest of the world? What if we told you right now that behind the scenes some of the world's largest economies are making moves that could shrink American paychecks, drain savings, and send prices soaring? This is not speculation. It is happening right now. The BRICS nations have quietly stockpiled over 600 tons of gold and are developing a financial system that will cut the US dollar out of global trade. Meanwhile, the US government is firing back with 100% tariffs and economic ultimatums. So what does this mean for American consumers, families, and businesses? We here at TrendWatch Viral are breaking it all down because whether you realize it or not, this could directly impact your money, what house you can afford to live in, the car you drive, and the groceries you buy. Is the US dollar's global dominance disappearing? Midway through his term, Donald Trump issued an ultimatum. Any country that tries to challenge the US dollar will face 100% tariffs and a permanent ban from the American market. But the BRICS nations are defiantly pushing forward anyway. In an unprecedented and bold move as the 2024 chair of BRICS, Brazil openly dismissed Trump's warning and accelerated the launch of BRICS Pay, a decentralized blockchain-based system allowing its members to trade without using the US dollar. And China, Russia, and India have already started cutting the dollar out of their billion-dollar trade deals. Yes, the financial world is massively shifting, and the US may no longer be at the center of it. So why is BRICS hoarding gold? And should Americans really even care? In just 2 years, BRICS nations have stockpiled over 600 tons of gold, not for decoration, but as a financial shield in case the US dollar collapses as the world's reserve currency. So why does this matter? First of all, the US dollar is not backed by anything tangible. It is only backed by the government's promise to pay. But the BRICS currency would apparently be backed by actual gold. And if confidence in the dollar fades, its value could plummet, sending inflation skyrocketing in the US. Everything from gas to groceries could get tremendously more expensive. So this begs the question, are US sanctions and tariffs backfiring on American consumers? The 100% tariff threat was meant to force BRICS nations to back down. But instead, the impact hit closer to home. First thing, right off the bat, the stock market took a hit. The Nasdaq fell 2%. And the S&P 500 dropped 1% within 24 hours of the announcement. Then, the Atlanta Fed revised its economic forecast to negative 1.8% growth for Q1 2025, which is a known sign of possible stagflation. Everyday goods may soon become more expensive as international trade now bypasses the dollar. The effects are no longer hypothetical. They're already being felt. Could American farmers and ranchers be the first casualty? China, the largest buyer of U.S. beef, just rejected 150,000 tons of American beef, worth over $520 million. The official reason? Quote-unquote, food safety concerns. But the timing definitely seems suspicious. Wholesale beef prices crashed 7.3% in just 2 weeks. Ranchers in Texas, Kansas, and Nebraska who rely on beef exports are now stuck with surplus cattle. Russia immediately stepped in to replace the U.S. and is now trading beef with China without using the U.S. dollar. For American agriculture, this could be just the beginning. Meanwhile, is Japan quietly also declaring financial war on the U.S.? Now it's not just BRICS making moves. Japan, one of America's biggest financial allies, is also taking action that could hit like a missile strike to the U.S. economy. After the U.S. placed a 25% tariff on Japanese auto parts, Japan responded by selling off billions in U.S. Treasury bonds. This is critical because Japan is the second largest holder of U.S. debt. If Japan continues to sell off U.S. Treasury bonds, it could greatly weaken the U.S. dollar, increase borrowing costs for American businesses, and trigger inflation across the economy. But Japan is not done. They are just getting started. Toyota and Honda are now moving production to Mexico and Southeast Asia, allowing them to avoid U.S. tariffs while still selling to American consumers. And in another blow to the U.S. auto industry, is Tesla's collapse a warning for the entire economy? Tesla has lost over $800 billion in market value in just 6 months. And what is one of the major reasons? Because China has raised tariffs on Tesla vehicles to 25% while favoring its own electric vehicle giants like BYD. Consequently, Tesla's market share in China is collapsing. U.S. sales are also dropping. And investor confidence is eroding. Of course, Tesla is also suffering from political-based issues stemming from Elon Musk's involvement in Doge. But Tesla's crisis isn't just about one company. It's a warning sign of how quickly global trade wars can reshape entire industries. So, once again, how will this impact American consumers? Clearly, this is no longer just about geopolitics or stock markets. The real question is, how will this impact the American wallet? Is your paycheck losing value? Will everyday items become even more expensive? Will certain U.S. jobs disappear as companies move production overseas? The shift away from the U.S. dollar is happening right now. And once global supply chains and payment systems adapt, it is highly unlikely that the world will ever be going back. So what in the world could possibly happen next? The financial landscape is shifting at a speed most Americans aren't prepared for. Will the U.S. manage to maintain its financial dominance? Or will these new alliances reshape the global economy, leaving American consumers to bear the cost? Here at TrendWatch Viral, we will continue tracking these developments. No agenda. We report, you decide. Because you don't need to be persuaded, just informed. If you believe that independent news sources are important in society, please like this video and subscribe to the TrendWatch Viral channel here. And please also follow us on Facebook. Just go to your Facebook and search TrendWatch Viral. Okay, one last thing. For free access to a brain audio breakthrough recording that until recently was kept hidden from the general public by the rich and powerful, and which can help ordinary people like you and me, regardless of your current situation, to be able to start attracting wealth quickly. Please send an email right away with Attract Wealth in the subject line to info@trendwatchviral.com before this recording is taken down.